Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We're gonna talk about Shikwa. Shikwa is a one of the most famous poems of Allama. It was read by Allama in April of 1911, and the word Shikwa literally means complaint, and it's unique because it is actually a complaint made by the believer to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. And when you say complaint, we think about how something can be disrespectful. But what Allama Iqbal does in a very beautiful manner is he maintains the level of respect while he still brings out some very amazing assertive points. So we'll talk about them. I think there's about 30 or so stanzas in this whole poem, so we'll cover a few, and then in the next video we'll do a few more. Um, so he starts out and he says, "क्यों ज़ियाकार बनूं सूद फरामोश रहूं, फ़िक्र फ़रदा न करूं महवे गमे दोष रहूं, नाले बुलबुल के सुनूं और हमतन गोश रहूं, हम नवा में भी कोई गुल हूँ के खामोश रहूं, जुर्रत आमोज मेरी ताबे सुखन है मुझको, शिकवा अल्लाह से खाकम बदहन है मुझको." So he's saying that why should I be? Ziyakar means someone who's self-destructive, who brings suffering and pain and destruction upon themselves. Why should I be self-destructive? Ignore the prophets. Sud faramosh means someone who's ignoring profits and benefits. Why should I? Meaning, why should I not talk about the positives? Basically, like, and you'll see he mentions this again. Fikr farda na karu mehve ghame dosh rahu. Fikr farda means, worry about the future, and ghame dosh means sadness about the past. And so then, why should I not worry about the future and instead be just lament and be sad about the past? नाले बुलबुल के सुन और हमतन गोश रहूं हम नवा में भी कोई गुल हूं के खामोश रहूं. Should I not listen to the um, the complaints and the sorrow of the bird, and just listen to it? Hamatan gosh, it means just my whole body just listens to it and not does anything. Am I like the flower in a garden? Kind of like the analogy that he's giving, that just sits there and does nothing and quietly. Jurata moz meri tab sukhan hai mujhko. Um, Now it's interesting because he's referring to his poetic ability, which is the tab sukhan, and his poetic ability has taught him. Iqbal's talking about himself, courage. So I have this poetic ability that has taught me to be assertive, be courageous, and therefore shikwa Allah se khakam badhan hai mujhko. Therefore I have a complaint against Allah, but he adds the word khakam badhan, which literally means dirt in my mouth. That it's said in, it's like a figurative speech where it's said, when you're complaining or saying something to someone that you respect and love, that may there be dirt in my mouth that I'm actually about to say this. So he's saying that I'm complaining to Allah because of all these reasons, but I'm not happy about it, and may there be dirt in my mouth. Like, may I be ruined for that. Kind of like just referring again back, going back to it's complaint, it's encouraging, and it's not disrespectful. It's assertive. Then he continues on with the second stanza, and he says, "है बजा शेवा तस्लीम में मशहूर हैं हम, किस्सा दर्द सुनाते हैं कि मजबूर हैं हम, साज खामोश हैं फरियाद से मामूर हैं हम, नाला आता है अगर लब पे तो माजूर हैं हम, ए खुदा शिकवाए अरबाब वफा भी सुन ले, खुगरे हमद से थोड़ा सा गिला भी सुन ले." So he's saying that it is true that we are known, mashhur, for what our sheva taslim, our ability, our habit. We've gotten used to this aspect of being a Muslim. Taslim means submission, like a Muslim is the one who submits. So this act of submission, we're known for that. किस्सा दर्द सुनाते हैं कि मजबूर हैं हम. We're talking about our painful story because Majboor is the one upon whom Jabr is being done, the oppression or the force has been done. So we're kind of cornered and we're forced to talk about our pains. Saz Khamosh hai, Faryad se mamur hain. We're like that repressed melody, but we're overwhelmed with our cries, right? So it's like that the glass that's about to spill over, right? Because there's so much liquid in it. Nala aata hai agar lab pe to mazur hai hum. Mazur literally means someone who's disabled. In a sense here that we're crying right now, because we're put in this position that we become disabled. We have no choice but to complain. ए खुदा शिकवाए अरबाब वफा भी सुन ले. O Allah, listen to our complaint, which comes with proven loyalty. Arbab wafa, right? It's not just a complaint that we're making without any loyalty and any closeness to you, but it comes with that. So listen to it. Khugare hamd se thoda sa gila bhi sunne. So what's khugare hamd? Khugar means that something that gets used to, and khugare hamd in this sense, he's referring back to the what he said when he said nala ata hai agar lab pe, like the lips are have become used to praising you. So now we're asking you to listen to some complaints, after being able to praise for such a long time. Then he's going into some historical aspects which are very interesting because he's setting the stage for this complaint. थी तो मौजूद अजल से ही तेरी ज़ात कदीम, फूल था ज़ेब चमन पर न परेशान थी शमीम, शर्त इंसाफ है ए साहिब अल्ताफ़ अमीम, बुए गुल फैलती किस तरह जो होती न नसीम, हमको जमयीयत खातिर ये परेशानी थी, वरना उम्मत तेरे महबूब की दीवानी थी. That it is true that you have existed from azal, from eternity, right? Your existence has always been there, right? Pool tha zebe chaman par na pareshan thi shami. The flower was there in the garden, but there was no smell of that flower. That, like, you existed, referring to Allah as that flower in the garden, but no one knew about it, right? Shart insaf hai e sahib altaf amim. That the like everyone and everything is um, like was receiving softness and mercy from you. But how would your message spread if there was no breeze? Like Nasim is that breeze that takes that smell of the flower and spreads it. So how would that actually happen, right? um, Meaning he's referring to the Muslims, that we were the ones that was the analogies, that we were the breeze that spread the smell, the shamim that came from you. um, and then he says हमको जमीयत खातिर ये परेशानी थी वरना उम्मत तेरे महबूब की दीवानी थी. That we like doing this work for you was something that we wanted to do. And it wasn't that people were just so insanely in love with your mahbub, the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It wasn't because of just that love that existed in their hearts that your message spread. It was the work that we did for you. So he's referring back to that. Then he says, हमसे पहले था अजब तेरे जहाँ का मंजर, कहीं मस्जूद थे पत्थर कहीं माबूद शजर, खूगरे पैकरे महसूस थी इंसान की नज़र, मानता फिर कोई अनदेखे खुदा को क्यों कर, तुझको मालूम है लेता था कोई नाम तेरा, कुव्वत बाजुए मुस्लिम ने किया काम तेरा. That before us, before we existed, it was the scenery and what was being observed in your world was very strange. On one hand, stones and rocks were being prostrated towards masjid, and on the other hand, trees were being worshipped. Ma'bud shajar. Shajar means tree, and ma'bud is the act of worshipping, um, or being worshipped. Khugare pekare mahsus thi. Same word khugar he used again. This one means being used to. That the sight of human being, and not just the sight, but also referring to our perception, right? Because there's a connection between sensation and perception. So whatever we sense, it goes into our perception. Our perception was used to that which we could see, that which had a face, right? Then manta phir koi andekhe khuda ko kyun kar, then why would anyone worship a god which is unseen? And even now, some of the a primary argument for atheism is that if you can't see God, how do we know God exists? And he's saying, "तुझको मालूम है लेता था कोई नाम तेरा, कुव्वते बाज़ Muslim ने किया काम तेरा." That, do you know anyone was actually saying your name? It was the strength in the arm of a Muslim that did that work for you, that made people say your name. And then now he's giving specifics about that as well. बस रहे थे यहीं सल्जूक भी तुरानी भी, अहले चीन में ईरान में सासानी भी, इसी मामूरे में आबाद थे यूनानी भी, इसी दुनिया में यहूदी भी थे नसरानी भी, पर तेरे नाम पे तलवार उठाई किसने, बात जो बिगड़ी हुई थी वो बनाई किसने. That in this world, there were the Seljuks, which were the Turks. Now he's talking about the Turks before they became Muslim, and had the Ottoman Empire. In this world, the Turks were there, the Turani, which are the people who lived in Turkestan. There were people of China, like dwellers of China. They had their own empire and dynasty, and then there's the Sassanids, which were people led by Khusro Pervez and those that existed in Iran, modern day Iran. So they had their own dynasty and their own empire there. Isi Mamure me Abati Yunani bi, Greeks also existed in this world, that had their own gods that they worshipped. Isi Dunya me Yehudi bi the Nasrani bi, the Jews and Christians also existed here that apparently worshipped you, but had gone astray. Um, but who was it that picked up the sword in your name? पर तेरे नाम पे तलवार उठाई किसने, बात जो बिगड़ी हुई थी वो बनाई किसने. That mess that had been created because of all these dynasties and empires, that chaos that existed, who's the one that made it, that cleaned it up, even with the sword. Because the idea behind Islam was to come together under the umbrella of worshiping Allah, right? So one God. And that's the work that he's referring to here. थे हम ही एक तेरे मार का आराओं में, खुशकियों में कभी लड़ते कभी दरियाओं में, दी अजानें कभी यूरोप के कलीसाओं में, कभी अफ्रीका के तपते हुए सहराओं में, शान आंखों में न जचती थी जहांदारों की, कलमा पढ़ते थे हम छाँव में तलवारों की. He's saying that we were the ones that were engaged in fighting for you. We fought in dry land and we fought in rivers, meaning wherever we could fight, we fought. Um, we gave azans, we called out your name in the churches of Europe, and sometimes Afrika ke tapte hue sahara mein, sometimes the hot, burning hot desert of Africa. Shan aankhon mein na jasti thi jahandaron ki. Um, and like we couldn't bear to see the kings of the world exist here. And so therefore, kalima padhte the hum chhaw mein talwaron ki, that we read your kalima, the kalima tawheed, the oneness of God, the unity of God, under the shade of swords. Because there's no one worthy of worship. There's no one to be followed and in command except for Allah. हम जो जीते थे तो जंगों की मुसीबत के लिए, और मरते थे तेरे नाम की अजमत के लिए, थी न कुछ तेगज़नी अपनी हुकूमत के लिए, सर बकफ फिरते थे क्या दहर में दौलत के लिए, कौम अपनी जो ज़रो माले जहाँ पर मरती, बुत फरोशी के एवज़ बुत शिकनी क्यों करती. So he's saying that if we lived for the toil and the burden of your wars. When we died for the greatness of your name. That was pretty much our whole life. Um, this swordsmanship, Teghzani, was not for our own politics, our own government, and our own control. Um, and did we go around the world, dying for worldly means, for for the riches and benefits of this world. If our qawm, if our people were fighting and were dying for zaro mal, zar is gold, like for wealth and gold and of this world, then instead of breaking the idols, we would have sold them. Meaning, Makkah, for example, was a center of idol worshipping, and that benefited Makkah. Like people would come and there was trading happening, and they would give money and they would bring all sorts of things, and so that was more profiteering than breaking the idols, because that would mean then people wouldn't make money from that. Even now, that like there's people who use religion and religious stuff to make money from that. So if we really wanted the money, we would have done that. We would not have done the opposite of that. So we'll end here and then we'll continue the next one.